What, the third one?
It is time for the Motorsports Almanac to switch gears. Episode number 40 coming at you. Mr. Scott Lang joined us from the World Series of Pro Mod, Bradenton Motorsports Park in Florida. 83 racers are on the docket for the race this weekend. Mr. Lang, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. So what's going on down there in Florida? I was already watching some of the test runs from today. Saw Tommy Franklin making a run, saw Ken making a run.
Yeah, a lot of guys tested today. Track, they say it was pretty good. The weather's still kind of being a little iffy, but better than what it has been. It's not raining, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of talk to us what do these testing sessions look like for you whenever you guys are there at the track a couple of days beforehand, because you guys actually get testing sessions.
Yes. We try to get the car dialed in as close as we can to try to get prepared for qualifying. You know, the days are different here. The sun comes out, the track's a little tricky. It cools off at night, it's super fast. So it's kind of, you got to kind of pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of talk to us. You were telling us before we got going here that you were having a little trouble with the, did you say Pro Charger?
Yeah, the Pro Charger drive was making a weird noise, so we decided to err to caution and repair it tonight and get ready to test in the morning with a fresh slate.
Yeah. So how many runs will you guys try to make tomorrow?
If we're lucky, 3, but it's a lot of cars here. A lot of cars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more than races past, and trying to get everybody through in an orderly fashion is probably the biggest thing.
Oh, it's like a traffic jam, like on the 405. It's bad. Yeah.
So, Scott, kind of give us your background in racing, because you didn't really start in this ML Motorsports Camaro. You started a little bit before this, especially not in Outlaw Promo, but in other things.
Yeah, I actually started in Big Dog, Piedmont Dragway. I drove a Ford Pro 706 nitrous car for James Darnell. And then I got my own car, went to the blower cars, Roots. Had a Corvette, had a 67 Mustang, and then I moved up to Pro Mod ranks. I bought Randy Woodford's Pro Boost car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my history goes back. My dad drag race. He drove Top Fuel cars in the 60s. So it's kind of like something I've been around my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Now, what brought you into the outlaw ranks itself? Was it the competition based? Was it the speeds? Was it just where everybody was heading towards the future anyways? What was it that brought you there?
PDRA, I was always at a lot of those races because I know a lot of the guys like Travis Harvey and Jason Harris. I've raced against these guys in Big Dog. So I was around that, and stepping up to that elite class, it's tough, guys. I'll tell anybody, these are the fastest cars on the planet when you're talking about Pro Mod door slammer racing. So you got to be prepared. You got to put your best foot forward and hope you get a little luck along the way.
Yeah, because everybody in that class there this weekend, it is going to be a gauntlet. Just to qualify as a win.
Yes. And to qualify, I ain't going to call it a win. It's an achievement to get an opportunity to race against the best and the best of the world. Because if you got a Pro Mod car and you ain't here, I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not trying to be arrogant about it. It's tough sledding over here.
Absolutely. You've got world champions. You've got the best of the best when it comes to other factors of racing and motorsports. You got top fuel drivers, pro stock drivers, champions like Eric Enders. It's the best. bar
Yes.
none.
Yes. And then the biggest thing that I think the disconnect with people watching it, they really don't realize how fast the cars are. You know, these cars, the turbo cars 220, 227 and an 8, the Pro Boost car 208 to 212, 213. And it don't look it, but the cars are really fast.
It's something we tell everybody when it comes to aspects of motorsports. You can't, the pictures and the videos don't do it justice. You just have to
No,
experience it.
no. You got to come out here and smell the fumes. And usually if you do that, you get hooked.
Yeah. I kind of found that out in last April whenever I came out to Galat Dragway with the PDRA. And I think your cars was actually the one of the first ones I saw whenever I got there. And if I
Okay.
remember right, I think you did really good that weekend.
Yeah,
Like
the I won there 23. Well, I won back-to-back races. I won Darlington, then I won at Galat. And I've always had good luck at Galat. I really like that track. Facility is top notch.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun though. But going back to talking about it's not something you can just watch videos of and understand. It's something you have to go and feel and see and experience. My perspective changed quite a bit about drag racing in its entirety whenever I went to that event because that was the first time I'd ever been.
Really? Oh man. Yeah, you like I said, it's just to get people to come and see it for themselves. They'll be blown away, and then the accessibility to guys like myself or the Franklins or Randy Woodford, you can walk right up to these guys. There ain't
Yeah.
nobody's got like this is my bid. There ain't no rope. There's no rope. You can walk right up to me, and that's the part I like. I like interacting with kids and showing people, come take a look. It ain't gonna bite. Come take a look at it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about it whenever I was there, of course, just getting to meet some of the new drivers and making the connections there for us. I mean, we've had a couple of them on our show since we went out there. But the one thing about this whole event that Drag Illustrated and West Buck and everybody has put on here, this 3-race stretch, you have got people coming from all the other classes. I mean, you've got Antron Brown in there, you've got Erica Enders in there. How does that speak volumes, in your opinion, as to how big this event got in such a short amount of time?
I mean, if you're a competitor and you have a car that you can get into, this is where you want to be. That the 3-race stretch is tough to qualify at any of the three. And like I said, the guys that you see win these deals, you get a little luck, your car got to be real good, and your team got to be real good. And if you want to walk up to Antron Brown or Erica Anders, you can walk right up to them. In an NHRA event, it's hard to do that. It's just
Yeah.
hard to do. This is more like what I would call like gunslinger type deal. You come here and hope you got your best stuff with you.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a sight to see it, and how is the atmosphere so far this weekend? I know it's only Tuesday, but when everybody's planning to be there by Sunday, so they can test on Monday, you got to bring your A game.
Yes. Yeah, that kind of threw me behind because one of my main crew guys, he got pneumonia, and it threw us back a day. I was trying to be here Sunday. This is what you said. You're trying to get all the information you can get to put your best foot forward on qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Especially getting those test
yeah,
sessions in, it gives you data you could throw down when it actually matters there qualifying.
absolutely. And you don't have enough information. You think you do, but you really don't.
Yeah. So some of the guys that were testing tonight, how is that going to help them going into the weekend? Because how much of the racing is actually going to take place at night this coming
Well,
weekend?
the race will start. That first round will start probably 10 o'clock. By the time you get to the semifinals, it's going to be dark outside. So
Okay.
that night session that you may get in qualifying, that information may help you that late in the race if you're fortunate enough to make it that far. So most guys try to make it hit in the day, middle of the day, and when the sun goes down.
I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that tonight. It seemed like everybody I saw run early this morning made another one tonight if they could.
Yeah, man, and that was that was actually the plan for us.
Uh-oh. The hauler didn't like that.
I was kind of worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you can steer us.
Yeah, no, I was too. It was working great. Well, that's unfortunate.
Hold on, let's try this. Any better?
Yeah, you're back.
It's something about inside the
Okay.
hauler that's just going to screw with the internet.
Yeah, it's and the internet, everybody's on that Starlink, and that's why it was hard for me to get on with you guys.
Yeah, that's no biggie. We got
I've
you.
never seen this many. I've never seen this many cars here. I came down here 2 years ago. I've never seen this many cars.
I think when the first initial list came out for this race a week or so ago, when there was 83 initial on there, I think it set everybody back for a second. It's like, whoa, now there's more killers on the road. Yeah, and a couple of the guys that can't come, there's other guys that replaced them that wanted to come. So, me personally, anybody got a chance to win this thing. It's coin toss. You just got to be good when it counts.
Yeah,
right,
so
and it doesn't matter your qualifying position either, because we've seen it guys that just barely make it in win the whole dang thing. Spencer won the deal from the bump. That's impressive. But that now, but they got the coin. You're picking the coins out of the bucket, so it don't really matter where you qualify. It's the biggest goal is to get in, because one could race two. Or two could race four. It's just you don't know who you're going to get when you put your hand in the bag. Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So like you guys mentioned earlier, it's an accomplishment to get in the show. And if you can actually say, I actually qualified there.
So how much does that mess with your mindset on race day? Because all year long you go, it seems like, or the majority of the places you go, it's like you do bracket style, like you're eliminate. Like you pretty well know the round before, okay, if I win this one, I'm facing either this guy or that guy. Does that has to play a little bit around in your head whenever you're drawing out of the bucket, doesn't it?
Believe it or not, it don't. Racing in the PDRA is like racing over here in this deal. There's no layups. If you know who you got the next, if you got Johnny Camp or you got Randy Woodsford or Travis Harvey, you got to be on your game or you're going home.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Or the Todd Tutteros of the world, Kurt Stedding and you guys, this style of racing is ultra competitive, and you got to have really good equipment.
Yeah. So what does the path to victory this weekend look like for Scott Lang?
Qualify number one and get an opportunity to race on Saturday. And what I tell my guys is I try to move the runners. I treat it like baseball. I try to go from first to second to third to home. Just try to move the runners. Because to win the deal, you got to beat everybody. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you're going to win the deal.
Absolutely. It's one step at a time, and if you overstep, you might cut your ankle.
Yes, exactly right. You couldn't have said you can't overthink it. You gotta treat it like somebody that's not in the other lane.
So, I know you just talked about taking one step at a time, but is there any other approach that you're going to take going into this, starting tomorrow?
Tomorrow, try to test well. See how the car 60s runs to the 330. Try to get a good bead on the tune-up, and then start drilling down on it from there to try to be really prepared first Q1 on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Being consistent, because consistency seems to be the key with any of the drivers. Like we've seen in the past two races, Ken Cortuccio consistent through the first race, qualifying through eliminations, and same thing when it came to US streets. He was consistent in testing and went all the way to the top.
Yeah, and I agree with that. They got a good package right now. Ken's a tough competitor, and I've raced against Ken, and that, like, back to the same deal. It's no layups. You got to come up there with your A game. Hopefully you go double O something on the tree, and you're going to need to run a low 60. You're going to have to run at least a low 360. 70s, high 60s, low 70s ain't going to make it here unless something catastrophic happens with the track.
So we had this discussion with the first two races and where the bump spot will be. The first race ended up being a 364, and obviously with the weather of the U.S. streets, it kind of bumped that down a little bit because of the lack of testing.
Yeah.
With how the future holds, where do you think the bump will be? Because we've seen 364 and 365 or so. Where do you think it'd be in that same range? You think it'd be quicker?
I think so. It was fast, them two races, because it was cooler. It's probably going to be in the 70s here. I would say 64, 65 is probably going to be the bump.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that too. I mean,
yeah,
you give that many cars, that many tries on the track for that many qualifying sessions, you're gonna have a lot of good runs.
Yeah, and like I say, you got to be good when it counts. That's the main thing. Got to be good when it counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So let's kind of jump away from the track. What does the life away from the racetrack look like for Scott Lang whenever you're not behind the wheel of a car?
I'm in the car business, Nissan of Rocky Mount and Infinity of South Bay, and that's my 9 to 5. I'm in the car business. I've been in the car business 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all. That's wow. You're doing something right then, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of help with this. And it takes a team to run any of these deals. Like, the guys you guys mentioned, you only as good as the team. The driver gets all the credit, but the team makes the dream work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You gotta have that support behind it.
What brand of car business you in?
Nissan. I got Nissan and Infinity.
My family owns a Ford dealership, so.
Yeah, I just got approved for Ford and Chevrolet. So, I've been in the import thing. I'm kind of comfortable with that, but there's nothing getting around a Ford truck. I hate to say that, but nothing's getting around a Ford truck.
Oh Lord, now you just made Zach happy.
And the guy who drives the Duramax just looks up at the sky.
Hey, man. You win some and you lose some. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Shane.
No, go ahead.
What is the connection between you and Keenan Allen? Is there a story there, or what? I've heard there's a connection there.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
Okay. That's all you need to say.
There's a connection there. That's why you see that KA13 on my car.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wish I had my buddy here to argue with, but he's not here, and that's Fletcher. I got nobody to argue with this week. Fletcher was down there at Ducks race.
Oh, yep. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. So, and the radio stuff, I like watching it, but I've never drove one of them cars. The guys say it's a smooth ride, but I don't know. I've never tried it.
So that big tire game is a driver's game.
Yeah, big tire game is you got to be right on, because if the car quivers or wads up the tire, the radio cars don't do that. They either go or they don't go.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk about the atmosphere of this event when it comes to the fans' perspective. We've talked about the driver and the competitions aspect. So for a fan coming to, or that is thinking about watching this race in person, coming to Bradenton, what would you use as your selling factor on coming to this race?
Oh, they're going to see something they ain't never seen before. 83 Pro Mods running at the same time trying to qualify for a 32-car field. And then 32 guys that are willing to sacrifice everything they got to win. You're not going to find that in any other type of competitive sport. And for a fan, that's never been to one of these, it's just the fan atmosphere and everything Wes and them guys do. It'll be a treat. It'll be a treat. You know, Wes and Victor done a great job with promoting this thing and getting all the competitors here, and the fans. Like I said, you ain't going to get this kind of access at no other race.
Yeah, exactly. It's one to get right up to the drivers and see what goes through their routine between rounds and get to get in not only contact them, but experience what they do sort of and build that connection between them.
Yeah, you 2 or 3 feet. Like if you walked up to my pit right now, you'd be 3 feet from me if I'm working on the car, because there's nothing to impede the fans getting a fan experience. And if the fans don't come, we're not doing a very good job of promoting the product that we're trying to put out there. So this is a real family-friendly atmosphere that a young racer enthusiast or older, racer can learn some stuff from guys that are doing it right now.
That seems to be a theme when it comes to any motorsport we talk about, whether it's dirt track, polling, drag racing. The family always seems to come first, and to bring a family into it and enjoy it is always what seems to drive everybody.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to make sure we do a better job of that at our level. I mean, with 2 out of the 3 of us being drivers and then the other one of us being a crew guy for another tractor, we're trying to figure out the best way we can to grow the sled pulling side of everything. And I think we're heading that way.
Drag racing is probably the closest of a fan experience to polling as far as getting up and close and personal to
it is.
The vehicle.
You guys know Stan Shelton then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Stan's here.
His son just won National Farm Machinery Show last week.
National Farm Machinery Show,
Yeah, them real good friends of mine. That's a class act right there. The Sheltons are a class act.
Yeah, most of the events we go to in the summer is where the Sheltons will be at. We'll be at the same facilities competing in different classes.
Yeah.
So I imagine you guys' stuff is probably pretty much like this with us. They walk right up to you guys, look at the tractors and all that stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you can't do that at NASCAR, some of these big sanctioning bodies. You just can't do it.
No. Yep. I wish we had the purse that you guys were running for this weekend, though, every weekend. I will say that.
They bumped that deal from 100 to 150, and I think the U.S. Street was 75 and the Snowbirds were 50. So, I mean, Ken almost had a shot at doing a Triple Crown on that deal.
It's a lot.
Well, he's going to try and go for 3 in a row after getting Lights Out done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. That was 50 at Duck's deal. I forgot about that.
But there's a whole lot of guys like you out there that are going to try and stop him and go to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I'm really trying hard not to let him do that.
Everybody. So where are we going to see you at this coming summer?
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
Where are we going to see you at this coming summer? Are you going to be on the PDRA again? Yeah. Or are you going to kind of bounce around?
Yeah, I'll run the whole PDRA circuit. Only one I miss is the one in Michigan. I usually have a scheduling conflict with the one in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Bristol, both of the Galat races, both of the Virginia races, Maryland, I'll be at all of those.
We need to get you guys back down to Beach Bend Raceway there in Bowling Green. We need to get you guys back there.
Yeah, they only ran that deal, I think once,
Yeah.
And I think they ran this Bristol was the first time that this last year we went to that. But that's a nice facility. I've been there watching. That was the first time I raced there. It's a very nice facility.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Lane, we don't want to keep you too long. We know you're wrenching on your car tonight. You were telling us the issues you were having.
I just stuck it in the trailer. That's why I missed your call, and I apologize for holding you guys up.
Oh,
no problem, dude.
Yeah,
having somebody that's on the property at this big race is really cool.
It means a ton to us.
Yeah, I was, when you guys called, I said, my wife come and said, they calling you. I'm like, calling me for what? And then I was, oh man, And I'm scrambling, and I got a smartphone. I can't tell you how small the operator is. These iPhones have their challenges.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. But like I said, I appreciate you guys' time, and I appreciate you guys thinking about me on this.
Good luck
Yeah,
this weekend.
absolutely.
So, is there anybody you need to plug before you get off here, like pages, sponsors, anything we want to plug before you? Weekend?
Yeah, I'll plug Infinity of South Bay, Nissan of Rocky Mount, Keenan Allen, KA13, AML Motorsports, my wife and my family.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Lang, once again, thank you so much for joining us, taking time out of your schedule too, and good luck this weekend. We'll be rooting for you from here.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Have
Take
a great
care.
day.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think he's going to be a favorite this weekend. Scott runs hard. I remember how hard he ran at Galot.
There is not one duck at that race when it comes to Pro Mod. If you looked at testing today, I know they didn't have any testing yesterday, but if guys are already running in the high 50s, low 60s, it is going to be a gauntlet.
By the way, Ken looked really, really, really good in his last qualifying run there to round out the test session.
He is going to be tough to beat, but I know there's a lot of guys aiming for him.
Yeah,
and I think one team, like we were talking about, I think Shelton's are going to turn something around. The early passes we've seen from them so far are really good.
Have they?
I think after the farm show, they're just getting back into a groove where stuff's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I do want to talk about a poll that we've got coming up here. It's kind of came up. Came up over this past weekend. I just want to talk about it real quick before we jump into the rest of our show. Russellville, Kentucky, Logan County Antique Engine and Tractor Club benefit tractor pool benefiting Kenneth Chapman. That is going on April 5th at 1 p.m. in Russellville, Kentucky Ag Arena. The goal is to be outside, weather permitting, of course, but if not, they'll move it inside into the arena like they've always had it. So just make sure you've got that on your calendar, and here's the flyer for it. If you have any questions, call Mr. Williams or Mr. Yoakley, and they will get all of your questions asked for you. Once again, great cause going there for Mr. Chapman just before we get rocking and rolling, and we will have flyers coming in for the Litchfield Crusade for Children benefit pool coming up again soon. So, all right, boys, we haven't had a show since National Farm Machinery Show. I don't think we even had a chance to do them going into it. We had to take off last week because, my immune system decided to suck. What was y'all's takeaways from the farm show starting out? Because there's so much that happened every single night that was storyline worthy that led into the finals.
Well, it depends on who wants to go first and say what they want.
Zach,
I mean, I think
you're
just
nominated.
Do what?
You've been quietest the longest. You're nominated first.
I mean, everybody just loves going there in February. I think the atmosphere is one of the best, if not the best, in the sport of truck and tractor pulling. I think the Red Pro Stock game coming back is definitely at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, and then the fun thing too, you got two separate engine combinations that are working now on the red tractors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go off based upon the engine thing you said. I was pretty surprised at the amount of non-breakage we had all weekend. There was there's really no delays of any sort of breakage. I mean, we had one the super farm, and other than that, there's a couple. I mean, Terry had an issue in the finals. That I don't really know any other real issues that were had. So
I mean, everything went smooth. I don't know how they could ask for much better of a flowing show.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of nights there, and we were there. I mean, we looked up and it was only like 9 o'clock, and we were running pro stocks already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most time if you're out there by 11:15,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, that's
So-
exactly right.
Mhm.
But man, I'll tell you the one that kind of stuck out to me the most: Wednesday night pro stocks. Tim Kaine nailing the pile,
Mhm.
and then Carlton Cope jumping up in there making the finals.
Yeah, you had 3 different brands in the top 3 that night.
Yeah, that really couldn't have worked out any better for us on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can't remember if I told you, Shane, this or who I was sitting next to, but I said this kind of weird. It's like the battle of the icons. We've got the Tinker Toy trying to take down the old pro and Tim Kaine, and then we've got the Cruising Mule, the last hook of the night, trying to take out Warpath for a final spot.
Yeah. What was that saying that I told you about? And we were walking out of the arena on Wednesday night. I said, man, I feel like I'm back in 2010, 2011 again. Seems like these guys are still trying to knock each other out of the finals.
Mhm.
And man, Cruising Mule was on a pass before it just touched that white line. I think he was fixing to head into the finals.
It would have been real hard. It didn't want to balance right away. It was up and down for the most part and be on the brake. And that was probably a whole lot different than when last time Jason was on the seat of it. So
Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Probably 1,000 horse better.
all
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
All of that.
You know.
Yeah. Going and thinking about limited pros and stuff like that. Rhapsody flexing his muscle 2 passes in a row.
3 passes in a row. 'Cause
Did he have to make 3?
He turned his hook down on Friday night.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He would have qualified anyways with his first pass.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was something that stuck out all weekend long, is the amount of test hooks that were turned down and come back to better themselves.
Yeah, that really goes against previous farm show history.
Mhm.
It really did. I don't know what they did to that track this year that's been different,
You know,
but I liked it.
yeah, it definitely was different than normal.
I mean, we were down there for test passes on Wednesday. I mean, the first thing we thought was like, oh, it's a little wetter than normal, but it didn't matter the rest of the weekend.
Mhm.
I think that was a statement. But, oh, man, let's see. Thursday night, we had the Pro Stock pull off again between Simons, Trailblazer. I think Trailblazer elected
No, it
not
was
to hook,
Simons.
right?
Peter Norton and Reese.
Yeah, Reese,
Yeah.
Peter, Simons.
So what night did Trailblazer get in? Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Friday
Yeah,
because he
okay.
didn't pull off against Red.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. See, nights are starting to run together. But yeah, I thought that pull off on Thursday was a lot of fun.
Parrish still continues his dominance on Friday night.
Yeah. That thing it loves Friday night at Farm Show.
Mhm.
I think Rhett's going to get it one of these years on Saturday night.
It's coming
Got
quicker
it.
than he realizes.
It's coming. He just doesn't know
love
when.
him. Ah, jeez. I'll tell you, Super Stock class on Friday night was interesting too, because we knew what the list had said about lessons learned being there, but then the 305 Warrior rolled in,
Mm-hmm.
and Gettinger was still ended up driving it, and that thing ran hard. I had never seen it, never laid eyes on it, barely knew it existed until it rolled into Broadbent. That thing made the statement of the weekend, I thought.
That thing lives only about 35 minutes from me.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen it before this past weekend then?
I had seen it
A couple weeks ago.
somewhere this summer. I'd seen it. I don't remember where we were.
Well, there was Bowling. It was at Bowling Green. I know that for sure. And then it was at a couple other PPL hooks besides that because it was at Mount Sterling. But
I want to say they took to like a region hook here in Indiana somewhere just to get a lap on it. And that's where
Probably. Yeah. Jeff Hurt laying down a great pass in Super Stock on Friday night, finishing like right there on the opposite end of the track.
I've been watching the finals tonight, and if that thing wouldn't have coughed, he'd had him beat on Saturday night too.
Yeah, he did. That thing ran hard. And then, of course, we had our troubles on Saturday night after changing out some things sometime between Friday, very, very late evening and into Saturday morning, somewhere around there. And then we had some more issues in the finals, but still we'll get it figured out. That thing vibrated the fender loose on the tractor, by the way.
It looked like it.
I think it unhooked the EGTs too. I have no idea what it is.
I think another thing that was just surprising for my sake was the Deere. So everybody has been talking about years for Deere has always owned Pro Stock class, but if you looked at the amount of qualifiers in other classes, like 4-1 finals, Deere outnumbered in the 4-1s. Deere almost out. It was even in Super Farms in the finals too, and they're outnumbering them in their preliminary on Wednesday too. So are we seeing a change of tide when it comes to other classes, or is it just
the other thing I'll say, I think, and we fought this with our group in the summertime, now mixing the 4-1s and light pros. I think the short track levels the playing field.
Yeah,
it does.
Now I'm not saying by any means put anybody down or saying the red guys, because they're coming on all the time. But I think when you back people up, it levels the playing field a considerable amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the diesel truck class on Saturday morning. 3.6 truck won that class. Now, granted, there was a little bit of changing that went around, I'm sure, before coming indoors like that, but she was able to put the power down into the dirt the fastest, and that's what won her the class.
Yep, 100%.
I think it also puts a lot of the driver into it too, because you have a lot less time to react and correct it and be on top of it. Whereas outdoor, you can let it, ride out a little bit longer and see where it plays out and go from there.
You can cover your mistakes up outdoors a little better.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's going to be y'all's storylines and vehicles to watch just coming out of Farm Show based off what we know now? I mean, I know we've got a lot of time between now and the summertime. There's going to be more changes made. There's going to be more vehicles that debut, I'm sure. But where are we going? Who are we watching? Who do we think is going to do what?
I think you got to watch the red pro stocks. I mean, they're going to be, you got, from what I'm hearing, 2 of them running on each, maybe 3 of them running on each national circuit. I think you got to watch them guys. And of course, I would love to see Barkers take their 4-1 and run outside the state of Illinois.
Yeah, I think that's everybody.
Just because I know it's competitive and I know it's making more horsepower, or as much horsepower as anybody's. I know I'm partial, but the light pro class down there, I think, put on one of the best shows of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
From the get-go was absolutely beautiful. I mean, Wyatt, you and I saw Smith run first, and we saw where he ended up. We said, leave it alone. Let's go. Let's see who's going to stack it in here.
We knew the caliber of the tractors coming in, and it didn't disappoint.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing, too, that surprised me, especially Saturday morning, and it's mainly because I remember it the most on Saturday morning. It really didn't matter in that light pro class where your hook position was. Later hook in the class ended up winning it.
The year I was there in 2018, it was that way. The last hook of the class won it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
when it comes to other storylines, I don't know. Like, I think I agree with Zach there. A red pro stock is definitely one to watch out for. Your diesel super stock trucks, I think we're going to see a lot more diversity in the winners column.
I do too.
I mean, we've seen it this past summer, but I think there's going to be a lot more of it. I mean, Jeremy Yeager was one that stomped on the scene for recovery by sweeping there. Trip Hazley's going to make a pretty good impression. From there, I mean, Caroline's just going to do her thing on Mid-South again, but if she throws on the big Charger, I'm never going to count her out. If she goes somewhere in super stock.
I'll be curious to know if they're going to plan on doing that. Never Mid-South's got a couple of weekends off.
I think that what you just said right there, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's an example of leveling the playing field indoors. I don't think a single charger truck, whether it's a big single charger or what it may be, outdoors running 340 feet at 34 mile an hour is going to keep up with a triple charger, a big twin charger truck.
Oh, logically, I don't think so either, but
No.
weird things have happened at the same time.
Oh yeah, no, I agree, but I said, I'm just saying in the long run, So
The triple, yeah, your multi chargers can play with it a little more, and your single chargers got to get on top of it sooner.
Yeah, and anytime you run them out longer, you get that power comes on.
Yeah, I'll tell you something a little bit more on a personal note for us. Whenever we were there at Farm Show, was just seeing how many of the vehicles had the Motorsports Almanac decal flying on them going down the track at Farm Show. That's something that's really both cool and humbling that these guys will run our decals going down that track, and also getting to see like how expansive our following is of not just in the United States. I mean, Wyatt, we saw that quite a few times whenever we were there in Broadbent from the guys that were there.
Yeah, well, we talked to guys from Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Denmark, France. I mean, you name any country that's running in the Euro Cup or ETPC, NTTO.
Yeah,
They were there to watch, and they pay attention.
Yeah, and
They
I mean
pay attention.
that's a really humbling experience for us. I mean, it really is. Just
Now, that's one thing I think is going to be interesting to see is the cross of the countries here in the next, I'm going to say 3 years. We already have Red Horse and My Six going to Mata.
Yeah,
The Mata boys are sending a mini over here. Who knows from there where that's going to go?
Yeah, I'll be curious to know if there's going to be any more. I know they used to send supers over here.
Yep.
I don't know if we ever see that again. I don't know. It's certainly
I wouldn't put it out a question. I think just the limitation is your electronic fuel injection or your intercoolers when it comes to European tractors in the superstock class.
But I mean, like they're a way smaller cubic inch than we are here, though, right?
They're still over 500.
Are they?
Yeah. I don't think the diesel superstock at all is dead either. We're going to see a resurgence, in Europe especially, because they're building more. Red Horse is going over there. He's not going to be the only diesel super at Mata.
No, he's not. No, he is not.
There's going to be 2 to 3.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But yeah, that was just on a person. That was just kind of a personal note and kind of a humbling note for me, for us to realize that we're reaching that far out across the world. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, we haven't been doing this that long, it seems like. So,
Zach, you got anything else you think is like story worthy?
No, I mean, I think of course, the weather, the rain played havoc on everybody on Saturday, but it was just
that
drought. I mean, one you got to look at, Ryan Anderson continues his reign down there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I talked to him on the phone before he went down there, he said he wasn't happy with where the tractor was at. I said, yeah, okay, I know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Ryan's just a good all around puller and driver, and
he knows his stuff. And okay, so I kind of also want to talk about Daytona 500. As much as everybody hates NASCAR, I personally enjoyed the 500 this time. I think NASCAR is already screwing up. We're 2 weeks into the year and they're screwing up throwing cautions before the leaders get back to the finish line. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch, I guess. But the last lap crash and Byron getting to win it 2 years in a row is pretty cool. To win that race one time, you're doing something special.
NASCAR could screw up. NASCAR could. I'm not even gonna say. You know where I'm gonna go with this. NASCAR.
I know. Up. So. Yeah, Daytona 500, man, it was a lot of fun.
Another thing when it comes to the polling world, I think I'm just going to go in comments here. I think Dylan's got a good point here. The Canadians made a pretty good stance this week.
Yeah, they did all the way around. That's actually really good.
The Cochrane truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had McGrath unveil his new one. He has a 405 hood on it now.
He had to up Brett by 5.
Yeah. Where's Colin Ross whenever I need him, by the way?
Yeah, that was a pretty piece.
Yeah, it was.
And they'll get that one figured out for summer.
Oh, yeah, easily. It seemed like the ones that had trouble, the Red Pro Stocks had trouble, were all kind of had the same problem from what I was told or kind of heard through the grapevine. So I found that kind of interesting.
There's multiple things that happen. I mean, it's indoors. Indoors is always hard on stuff, no matter where you go. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Cloverdale or Keystone or Farm Show. I mean, it's always going to have its negatives when it comes to. It's cold for one. It's already hard part there.
You don't say it's cold in Farm Show. What in the world? There's no way that's possible. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything we've got coming up. I know TNT's got a hook coming up in Shelbyville, Tennessee this coming weekend. All alcohol. I was gonna go until I came back home and I felt the way I do, and I don't think I want to go backwards again for a little bit.
I think they'll have a pretty good 2-wheel drive class, it looks like, down there.
Yeah, they do.
I think you're gonna. I don't know if they were begging for light limiteds last I knew, and I don't know if they got that filled or not.
Whenever I talked to Eddie at Murfreesboro, he said he had plenty. He said they were lined up ready to go. So I don't know whatever came of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Chris, we do have Keystone in 2 weeks. That's going to be another fun one. That light pro class alone looks like a gauntlet by itself.
We went out there one year. Probably.
Did you really?
Yeah, we took 4 tractors and 1 trailer.
Good Lord.
What was it, 70 feet long?
No, we kind of stacked. It was 57, but.
Was it sketchy?
A little bit. It was Jared Nussbaum, me, Larry Black, and Jason Fleeman. We all went out together. And that's
a lot of weight in one trailer.
Hands down, the best facility for an indoor pool you could have.
Really?
Track lacks a lot to be desired. They're getting better at it every year. But the facility, you pull in there on Wednesday or Thursday, wherever you get there, you don't go back outside till Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Oh, really?
They take you through a tunnel into the warm-up area, up into the arena, right back into the pit area. You do not go outside at all.
Oh, wow.
It probably makes it a lot easier when it comes to keeping everything warm. And
oh yeah, because they get people in, they shut the door. I mean, it don't get opened. And that facility is unbelievable. The Forrester boys, all them guys out there, they do a heck of a job. If they could find a way to put dirt in it that was good, they'd have something out there.
Oh yeah. It's pretty well. It's horse arena dirt, isn't it?
Yeah, they scrape it, and like I said, they're getting better at it every year. But my brother's taking his farm toy business out there this year and setting up. So
probably get a lot of traffic. There's usually a good amount of people that run through that show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'll be curious to see. They're still adding entries for classes like the super stocks and forward drives already. They're still adding to it.
Yeah, I think they've got room for a second flight of Light Pro, if I'm not mistaken, too. I don't know. I might be way off on that.
I've seen mine. I've seen mine since the first time since October today.
Oh, they come home?
Yeah, Blake brought it home today. So,
good. So you'll be ready by May 3rd, right?
I haven't seen it yet. It's still in a trailer, but it's back on property. So
yeah. Oh yeah. All my Light Pro guys, May 3rd, Williamstown, Kentucky, Battle of the Bluegrass. You guys need to show up. They're spicing up the purse a little bit. I haven't heard an exact figure, but that's early enough. Would love to see a lot of you guys down there. It'd be a lot of fun.
I'd like if it's together, we'll probably try to run down there. We still the chassis is back, but the engine's not. But
did you send your motor off too?
oh yeah.
Ooh. I guess I need to start going through mine here pretty quick. I mean, for goodness sakes, it is February 25th.
Dave Vandenberg, is there a pole in Florida this weekend? Yes, Arcadia.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the last. It's one of the last poles of the Florida series, and it's really far south.
Yeah, I mean they're
Is
still
it down by like Palm Beach or down there.
Too.
They're an hour southeast of Tampa.
Shoo! Yeah,
they're southeast of Bradenton.
Yeah,
they're southeast of Bradenton.
Shoo!
So it's a long way down there.
That Florida series, I don't know what to think about that.
Really?
I think it's the same thing of like Ocala when it like first couple years goes slow and then it builds up. I think you just give it enough time.
Oh, I think they'll make it work.
I think that the first one getting hit by the weather that they did, I think that really screwed them.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that because people love going down there to Ocala.
Jeff Hurt hadn't been down there this year. You know, they always went with the minis. You know,
Camels didn't go.
Chase didn't go with his mini. You know, there's all the minis didn't go this year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too. Shane, when are you going to D-Cube that Super Farm and Run Light Pro? If Mid-South ever gets Light Pro, like if Light Pro ever
put that on there
thing in Kentucky, Chris Baker
did.
He's always giving me crap about what class I run.
I'll be very curious to see how the season shakes out and where people go because I've had talks with other guys at banquets and PRI that pullers I talk to. We're seeing a lot more guys get out of their own sandbox and series and go do something else. Ray Heron was one of them I was talking to at PRI and especially at Farm Show too. Because Zach, you talked about Barker's getting out of Illinois with Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Ray went out to Fort Recovery to do something different and swept there. Well, he's going to do the same thing again this year. He's going to go to Wisner. So I'll be curious to see if schedules play out like they should, who crosses over to other organizations. Diesel Superstocks to Toma is one because Toma's 50th. It could be one place.
Yeah.
Shane and I had a conversation walking around Farm Show Tuesday afternoon before he went to the UK game. I really feel that the day of I have to go here because of points, I'm not going to say it's over, but it's not what it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, here's the thing. And I know some pullers have told us this, like, well, we ran the points and we still didn't get to go here or there, and we still want to go here and there. They've said we're just going to do it.
I think one prime example is that it's a conversation I had with the Blagraves. Blagraves got the invitation to go to Mata, and like Stan and Steve said, they're at that age. They've ran the points. They've won the points titles. They've been basically everywhere you could be for diesel supers in America.
Mm-hmm.
Why not try something different?
Yeah,
and especially of the magnitude of Mata, the atmosphere and the competition they got over there.
Yeah, we will make it to that poll one day. I just don't know when that's going to be yet, but we will make that one. Chris Baker, does the Outlaws have a light pro class? Yeah, they do. I think they call it 540 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 540. It's just light pros.
The naming confuses everybody, including myself.
Your Hopkins, your Trent Grimes, Plotz runs it sometimes. You've got Narragon and Shellum from Dakota.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Plotz
Plots ran and they won the Rock one year. I can't remember if it's 24, 23. They won the Rock.
Huh. Okay. Learn something new every day.
It's definitely when you go west of the Mississippis when Light Pro starts to die down because you're sort of in 4-1 country.
You're in pure 4-1 country. There ain't no doubt about it.
Especially when you go Missouri over in Nebraska and Kansas. There's 4-1s. You throw a rock and you hit them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be curious to see. I'll be really curious to see what the 5.0 Pro class does this year because I still see a ton of people selling out from the class that they're in now, and they say the only reason selling is that we're going to 5.0 Pro. I'm just curious to see how many more are going to be built that we see this year.
It's just another red and green class is all it is.
Yeah, maybe, but still it's a little bit of fun.
I don't know of any other class really out there that's growing at the rate of 5041 or really Light Pro at this point.
Do we have to keep it specific to tractor classes?
I mean, mini rods are growing like weeds.
Yeah, because I mean that was where I was going. I was going right to the minis. Yeah.
Yeah. I swear every time somebody puts two-wheelers in a trailer, they somehow recreate a mini.
Like somehow 1 and 1 makes the little one.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a smaller engine stand that you can run on the track.
Yeah, Scott, we've talked about Farm Show. We're still kind of halfway talking about Farm Show. Yeah, hot farm classes are growing. Yeah, I think that's the new super farm, to be honest with you.
I just hope I really hope that these hot farm groups, and I know ours for sure is status quo right now, but do not put these guys on 24/5s.
Yes, exactly.
No,
thank you.
Because that is the only differentiation that they have to the fan's eye from any other 24/5 class. And now, obviously, on the track, you can tell the difference, but to the eye, that's the only differentiation there is.
Yep. I totally agree. You got to give something to differentiate and draw the interest.
Now that the whole shot, the 20.8 whole shot's working, I think that conversation maybe calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we saw them on a couple of hot farms that were on display there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be curious as to see where the whole sport as a collective grows, because when you go to places like Farm Show, PRI, Cloverdale, all that you can hear talk of is what's new, and there's never a dull moment talking about new. Yes, we talk about building new hot farms, new 5.0s, but if you talk around, there is new of everything.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I mean, we've seen it, not to get off of it, but we've seen this past year in two-wheel drive, they had the largest number of fully committed competitors run a full circuit ever.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
now,
right.
How does that translate? That might translate to mini rods. That could translate to four-wheel drives, to semis, maybe. You never know.
I mean, what you got? Two-wheelers, minis, and pro stocks that are the only three classes that 100% go across organization lines without any rule changes.
Yeah. 4-1.
4-1, yeah.
Light Pro?
Nope.
Light Super, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Surely, geez.
I was just thinking Champ Tour, Grand National classes.
Yeah.
Limited Super.
I think you're right on Light Super. Why did I think about that?
Did you hear what I said?
Mm-mm.
Light Limited Super.
Yeah, right.
Start the pull-off conversation now.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about a good way to get that going. Here we go.
Dylan Dirks, any people you know of who are jumping to Grand National Champions Tour or changing circuits?
I don't. Nobody offhand comes to mind.
I know of a couple, but I'm not going. I'll let them announce it at a later date.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
really?
going to say the same
Okay.
thing. I know of a mini rod team, a pro stock team, and oh boy, I want to say, well, there is a super farm team come back. We've already discussed. White Ears are coming back. Other than
Yeah.
that, there's nothing real. There's nothing really that stands out. I think it just depends on what we see from new vehicles and who wants to run where.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot more of the pick and choose deal
Run
this
where you want
summer.
to run. Go somewhere if you want to go somewhere. Yep.
I think we're getting to the point. It's just like what we talked with Scott about getting everybody in one place for a competition. I think we're going to see a lot more of that, where everybody wants to go and compete. Take your super nationals in consideration. Toma, 50th. Who's all going to come for that? Bowling Green's always a draw. Hillsboro is always a draw. Chapel Hill.
Farley.
That's going to be a fun deal.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun. You bet.
So,
you're seeing even the Farley way of thinking trickle down into even lower. Tampico's doing it this year with Hot Farms.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Lynn, Indiana is doing it for their poll too.
I think they scrapped it.
They did? Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll find out for sure this weekend because we got the Lafayette Farm Toy Shows this weekend. A bunch of them Lynn guys set up there. I'll find out for sure. But when I talked to Jordan Austin at my brother's show, that he hadn't had any interest in it really. So
Yeah. I think it's going to be something. It's going to be something to see, but where's going to be the event that's going to be like a World Series of Pro Mod?
Farley.
That's what I was going to guess.
Yeah, if Farley's going to be one, I'm going to keep going back to it. Toma, it doesn't conflict with some events this year with the way the schedule, like the weekends work out.
Except mine.
Well,
that is the first time I think that has ever happened for us. Is us running against Toma that weekend? That sucks.
Because it doesn't run against. What was that, Zach?
We were gonna go to Toma, but it's not gonna work out. We do have an IPL hook on that Friday night.
Yeah, it doesn't run up against Mountain City. White Right is not there anymore.
Yeah, I think Toma could be big, being the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine you're going to see a lot of the Outlaw guys go too, don't you?
I think you're going to see everybody. I think you're going to see everybody. I mean, we had the same thing happen at the 40th. We had 40, 50 super farms, 62 wheelers, 40 minis, all that.
That would have been never Super Farm or still Grand National though, there, right?
Yeah, but even at a 45th, when it started to become regional, still we had 37.
Yeah, so you'll have a few.
There'll be everybody. I mean, light pros. I know of guys, Colin Burkholtz being one of them, who's contacting guys to come. I mean, you've seen Chris Cameroni come last year from New York.
Man, that thing looks pretty, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell he changed very much on the outside, but she's pretty. He told me he was thinking about changing sheet metal even.
Nah, he wouldn't.
No. Yeah, David, it is going to be live streamed. I think Full Poll's doing the live stream for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they are. Dylan Dirks, we plan on going to Toma for the first time ever this year. That's cool, dude.
Park on the high ground. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little word of advice there. Yeah, don't go in the low ground.
Do not go in the northwest corner.
Toma was a good time. We enjoyed going there. We went up. Van Hazley hauled us up there one year with him because he only took one truck, and that was one of the coolest places we've been.
I've only been there one time.
I went there with the tractor once, and I went there with your brother once, Shane.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. When Ryan drove the Super.
Oh, you were there for that.
Oh yeah.
That was a rough super class.
First time Ryan Salamane's ever drove a diesel Super, too.
Mm-hmm.
And only, to my knowledge.
That's as far as I know. Yeah, only.
He was on a pass, too,
Mm-hmm.
till that turbo let go. But I don't have anything else to add. Do you guys?
Mm-mm.
Not really. Just keep on the live stream for this weekend. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
not going to be watching the race,
your place to go.
if you're not going to be watching the race, there's two polls to watch: Shelbyville and Arcadia.
Mm-hmm.
Arcadia, yeah, you're right.
For PPL.
Yeah, we're probably gonna forego the Motorsports news episodes that we had started doing this week, just because by the time they come out on Friday, I mean, we basically just repeating everything that we said on the show here. So we'll probably try to pick
that
that
time
back
of
up
year
next
where
week.
nothing big's gonna happen, probably.
Yeah, but as soon as we say that, something weird and crazy is gonna happen, and we'll be.
I think it more or less be
it.
like a bi-weekly thing on our off week. We could probably get out as something short and quick because there's always something moving. Dirt track's going to pick back up after a month off. After we get out of, the Florida and winter stuff. I mean, we're off for a while.
Yeah, I actually might go dirt racing this weekend. And Clarksville, Tennessee Speedway is having their opening weekend this weekend. I might go over there and just go watch something go in a circle.
Kokomo opens up April 5th, 14th with the Grand Prix.
Oh, does it?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got to decide. I think World of Outlaws is coming there to. Oh, it's right there by Mr. Engler's shop.
Hopstop?
Yeah, I think they're coming. I can't remember if they're coming in June or if they're coming in April.
I'm going to look at when Kokomo starts. Kokomo is a freaking awesome track.
We have our seasons start up the last weekend of March and the 1st of April with the freeze races. We call them the freeze races because they're right when the frost starts to break off.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that would be your Nippy 50 Makokadas, your Davenport.
Yeah, the Grand Prix, the 25th, 26th, and 27th of April. National Midgets and Sprints, both. USAC.
Yeah, World of Outlaws is coming to Hopside, Indiana, April 26th. So odds are, if I'm not on call for the store that weekend, I will probably be going to that.
When is the Williamstown poll?
May 3rd.
May 12th, High Limits in Kokomo.
Yeah. Street Outlaws is coming to Beach Bend. That was something that we haven't talked about. They announced them as a new quote unquote company. I think it's called Speed something Promotions, I think.
Yeah, it's not known as Street Outlaws, No Grip Kings anymore because they're branching out. They're basically branching outside of the normal tracks you go to and under a different LLC, and they're going a lot more, not really international, but out of the country. They are in Mission City, Canada, which is Justin Bond's hometown. They're going to Edmonton. They're going to Toronto. They're going to a lot of different racetracks that don't really get the population numbers of what like your Chicago's, your Indies get.
Yeah, they're going to come to Beach Bend. I'll probably that's right there in the middle of wheat time, so that just really depends on how all that's going.
Yep.
So,
but I got nothing else. If you guys don't,
yeah, I don't either.
No.
And yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and probably schedule our next show for what? Probably
2 weeks.
Probably what, March 11th?
Yeah.
Unless we snag some sort of interview between now and then. But yeah, you guys, to make sure you guys go and check out the interview we did with Lucian Coolers from the National Farm Machinery Show.
It was a good one.
That was a lot of fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Chris.
Lucian's got a lot on his mind.
Yeah, there was one line in that interview that stuck out to me the most, and I wish I could rewind time and go back and rewatch that pull off again.
Mm-hmm.
Thought Street Outlaws was a TV show.
It is a show. It's just your track racing and live stream races during the summer are not called Street Outlaws anymore because they're really not street cars. They're Pro 275 cars on no preps.
Yeah. Zach, could you actually get a hold of any of the guys that are going to be running at Keystone?
As far as
just to have somebody on to talk about it.
Possibly, I make a few phone calls. We can
All right.
talk about that off the air.
Yeah, sure. All right, y'all. So until then, make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing to our stuff. That helps us out more than anything else that you guys could do for us. So until then, we will see you guys again next time. Later.
See ya.